this is FantasyEsque and welcome back to the Sims 4 Vampire Amazon Royal Saga with the Salazar Coven. We are picking up with Queen Eden in the throne room alongside Lord Trista Shevchenko, the chosen male for her newest breeding. Now this is, I think, the third Visitant breeding that we are having among the vampires, so that's quite exciting because the previous two Visitant breedings have resulted in princesses, so fingers crossed we're gonna get a fifth one from this pairing, especially because I feel like Trista and his twin Sherlo are really good looking. I feel like they're really good looking vampires, so I am excited for this. And at this rate, it does feel like we're gonna get 6 princesses. And I think some of you lovelies are confused about the limit for children that we have. So we are not counting any of the spellcaster children that are born. They don't grow up in the castle, so they're excluded from the number. But normally we've had 5 children in this generation. I did say in the beginning that we are bumping that up to 6. So we need to have 6 vampiric girls born within the coven before the breeding season is over. So we've already had 4 girls born. They were the first 4 princesses. So we had Kyra, Juno, Eve, and Diana. And we have 2 more spots left. So that's something we're going to be working towards. Now, before we dive in, let's quickly go through what we saw in the mini-movie. I'll try and do a quick summary. Essentially, in the previous episode, actually before we get to the mini-movie, we had some random whims in terms of a romance. So Azura, she decided that she wanted to officially court Princess Juno, so they entered a relationship with each other. And I wasn't entirely sure what motives she had for proposing this and what motives Juno had for accepting it. But in the mini-movie of this episode, we kind of saw Azura in her room by herself, and she was basically saying that she doesn't understand why Catherine isn't being jealous at the fact that she's now in a relationship with Juno, why Catherine isn't reacting, and she thinks it's because she and Juno aren't being too convincing with each other. And so Azura, she was racking her brain trying to figure out how can I improve my relationship with Juno so that it bothers Catherine, because remember, she actually is into Catherine right now. Even though it might not seem like it, she is, but Catherine kind of rejected her. She was giving Catherine advice on, the Queen and Catalea and the second marriage that the Queen's gonna get into pretty soon. And in giving that advice, like somewhere along the line, she started liking Catherine. So she thought there was something there, and Catherine rejected her, so I think she's being a bit salty about it. But she decided that she's gonna get into a relationship with Juno, make Catherine jealous, and get a reaction out of her. It has failed thus far. So after racking her brains, she figured, maybe I need a potion to kind of help me get this done, because it makes sense that Juno, she gives all her attention to Sage and Griffin, so who's going to really believe that she's in love with me? So she thought about it, and she figured the potion of Alluring Aura was probably the best path to take. So she went to the magic realm. She did some research because she's a fairly new physician right now, so she doesn't know entirely how to make certain things. So she went and did some research, made that potion. It's also a banned potion, mind you, so she probably shouldn't be using it. And she created that. She drank it. Now, because it was the first time making it, something didn't taste entirely right, but she was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just make do with it. Now she came back to the castle and she confessed her love to Juno, and she said that she hopes Juno feels the same. But Juno's reaction was, I don't know, it was kind of in the middle there. So Juno, she said that, love is a strong word, my sweet. So she's obviously still participating in this relationship, but I think she rejected Azura's advance or her declaration. Now, currently where they stand, I feel like Azura is trying to trick everyone, obviously, that she is genuinely into Juno, and I think that means tricking Juno too, to feel as though she's, genuinely in love with her when she's not. She's just using Juno to make Catherine jealous. Now, on Juno's side, I think Juno is also using Azura. She is trying to pretend towards Azura and everyone else that she's, being genuine, but she's actually just using Azura to make Sage jealous. Her cousin, who she's been in love with for the longest time, but who doesn't really see it in that way. Or at least he hasn't shown it. So that's kind of what's going on with those two. They are actively using each other, but it's not like a joint effort. It's more like they won't know I'm using them, but I am still using them. But it goes both ways. So that's a little bit confusing. So that was it. And then the last portion of the mini-movie, we had Lord Trista Shevchenko presenting himself for the breeding, and the Queen, her mind was kind of elsewhere. She wasn't really paying attention to what was happening. It was kind of like, oh yes, the breeding. I'm sorry, my mind is elsewhere. I can't stop thinking about my wedding. So recently, Catalea has been putting a lot of pressure on the Queen to get married. And I did say in the previous episode we might do a wedding in this one, but I figured with the time pressure we were having, in terms of, trying to get more breedings in, and also we have the Day of the Goddess today, I just thought it'd be too much to do, and I didn't want to miss out on the festival that we have. So I figured let's do the breeding in this episode, and then we can do the wedding in the next episode. So that's kind of where things stand right now. But let's dive in. Now with Trista, so with these two, a breeding, so if they get a girl, then she will have this pinkish purple hair. She'll have purple vampiric eyes. So Trista over here, he's got the pink ones, but his eyes will transfer to the purple ascension eyes in his daughter. And we'll have to see whether she gets the dark skin or the light skin. So that hair color is the same hair color that Azura has. So that's kind of, we might get a princess with a hair color, and I feel like that might be pretty cool. And the purple eyes. And in the future, if she ends up breeding with someone that's got white hair and purple eyes, we might have like the perfect vampires born in the royal line. Who knows? But for now, this is kind of what we have. So let's get the Queen and Trista. Oh my goodness, I just realized we have a full household. Okay, hold on a second, guys. I need to go ahead. I actually need to make space because we cannot breed in this condition. Let me go make space and then we'll be right back. Finally have that sorted out, and now the Queen has managed to get Trista into her royal chambers, so they should have some alone time together. Let's go ahead and okay, not that extra. Let's not be that extra. She is committed to others right now, and I don't think she's very much interested in entering any sort of relationship with the Visitants, save for this one, this very important one. Okay, imagine if she had ended up together, or at least had like a political marriage with Prince Voldemort, but that's something of another time. But she's gonna go ahead, she's gonna try for a baby with Lord Trista. Okay, here we go. Get these two settled in, and thankfully nobody is disturbing them, so I feel good about that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now after this is done, we do have the Day of the Goddess, so fingers crossed everything goes well for that. I will have to get all of our Coven members moved back in. The other thing I want to look at, we have two males that I'm not sure if I showed in the previous episode, but they have recently aged up. At least their faces and makeovers seem relatively new to me. So I definitely want to take a look at them. Now we have Is it both Catherine's kids? I don't know. Actually, she only has the one kid, doesn't she? No, it might be Catherine and Elaine's sons. Yeah, okay, hold on. So who exactly? Yeah, so Lord Leon, and then we had, I think, Jacob. They're the ones who recently aged up. So this is Leon. We might have taken a look at Leon, actually. And then we do have Jacob, who is not here, I think. That's a shame. You don't even know your nephew? That's ridiculous. But I definitely want to take a look at them. Okay, the queen is out and about. But let's go and take a test over here. And my game is really, really laggy right now. But hey, we shall make do with what we have. Okay, come through this way. Take a test. This is just what happens when your save file is like really, really old and you've got a bunch of data and you've got a bunch of CC. Everything just slows down, gets bogged down. And you've got like a bunch of sims and people around. Okay, come on. Let's come on through. Let's get our test. So that we can verify your pregnancy and we can set the event for whenever it is you would do. And it is good news, I assume. Come on, Queenie. And Azura. Kyra. Yes. Congratulations. The queen is eating for two. Okay. While she's wandering around, we are going to quickly count the days and set the event. So 1, 2, 3 on Thursday. Okay, so she's going to be due on Thursday. And let's go ahead, do a house party. Right, so we're going to host with these guys. We'll invite Trista, of course. Trista, and then we want some of the other Sims. So Catalea, Juno, Eve. We'll do Guinevere, Kyra, Elaine. Look at Diana. I'm gonna invite her. She's so cute. Because this might be Diana's sister. That's right. It'll be Diana's sibling. So we definitely want to invite her. And nobody really else I think we have going on here. That should be fine. Everyone we want to include, that should be good enough. Okay, so we'll do 7 p.m. Because it's 6:35 right now, but we'll do 7 p.m. So she should definitely be in labor by that time. So Thursday night, we have a fair bit to go. In terms of events right now, I'm pretty sure, so we have the Day of the Goddess right now. So we'll come back in a bit and we'll resume that. We have the mentorship. Nothing really going on Wednesday. I think on Friday, I don't know if it's Friday or Saturday, we have, I think, Eve's birthday. So she's going to be aging up into a teen. So that should be coming up in the next couple of episodes. I don't know when, maybe next week. So that's something we have to look forward to. But, okay, let me, actually, once the queen is done telling Trista, that's another thing that I feel is very nice about the ladies in this generation. They actually tell the fathers the good news before, you know, they send them off. It's not really like, okay, you've done your bit and you don't even need to know whether or not I conceived. Bye-bye. They're not that mean. So, okay, let me get Trista moved back in the House of Lords. I'll get all the ladies, return to the castle, and then I'll see you guys in a bit. It is time for us to resume the, well, at this point, Night of the Goddess. It is almost 8 p.m. on Monday. Everyone is in the temple, and we are going to do what we have always been doing on this day. Now, we do have an extra sim here who unfortunately isn't meditating because she doesn't have a meditation spot, but you know, she's being present. She's going to be present during this. It's less of a festival, more like a ritual day, I suppose, or a religious day for the vampires. But okay, as usual, Catherine, you know, she was leading the prayers at the front. she is going to, along with being the first, now decide the second who is going to make the offering at the well with her. And so we're going to look at her relationships. Whoever she has the least relationship with in the coven right now is going to be selected as her second. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now obviously Princess Eve is exempt because she's the youngest. But it seems as though, guys, Juno is in the firing line. So Juno is going to be selected as Catherine's second to kind of balance out the evil side of the coven. It's almost like, think of this whole thing, this ritual, right, to appease the kind of the dark side and the light side of the coven. It's like a play almost, and so someone has to represent the light side and someone has to represent the dark side, and so the second is the same who always represents the darker side of things. So Catherine has selected Juno. Now obviously it doesn't matter which side you represent, you're both in the firing line to lose your life potentially if the goddess isn't exactly pleased with you. But Catherine's going to go first. But I feel like it's interesting whenever the priestess, at least now, if she ends up selecting any of the royal children, because they refer to her as second mother, or at least that's, you know, what she would like to be called by them. So it's kind of interesting. That means if Catherine does end up marrying the queen, oh sorry, not Catherine, Catalea, ends up marrying the queen, she would be referred to as third mother. So it's fascinating the way the families are turning out, because we haven't had something like this happen in the past. But okay, Catherine, the well doesn't look too happy right now. She's going to go out. She is going to make an offering, and then she is going to pray to the well for blessings upon the coven, and we'll see whether or not her blessings are received by the goddess. Well, first of all, we have to see whether or not her offerings are received. So, you know, if she survives, then she's kind of made it. But if the goddess is extremely displeased, then the goddess will claim a life in exchange for that, like to repair that. It's okay, now this doesn't look good. Okay, it's been found wanting. Yeah, she's gonna wish for blessings for the coven, and we'll have to see how this goes. Now, she's the priestess, which is why she goes first. And, oh, what's happening here? That didn't look too good. Okay. Has played a devious trick. Okay, forcing Lady Catherine to burst into peals of laughter. That doesn't seem like too bad a thing, right? She can't stop smiling, but that doesn't seem too bad a thing. Okay, she might have just escaped with her life. She's gonna go back inside. And then we're gonna have Princess Juno come out and make her offering now. So let's go ahead, let's make an offering and see what happens with her. Okay, come on, Juno. Come on. Now, I feel like every new princess that ages up has to be careful, because they end up being in the firing line for the priestess, it seems. Okay, well, the well isn't too happy, but I don't think it doesn't have the hood over it, so I don't think it's too extreme. Okay, she is gonna wish for she's actually already at a, I think, master or grandmaster level, so we'll just wish for the coven's well-being and the coven's happiness. And let's have a look. It doesn't seem as though it's anything too bad. Okay. Oh, gave her happiness away to others, but I don't think it's too bad a thing over here. Yeah. So she's feeling a little bit upset and disappointed, but it's fine. It's fine. Well, guys, it is good to note that everyone survived. Now, we haven't really had a casualty through the well, I feel like. That's a good indicator considering all that's happened in the coven. At least the goddess seems to be relatively pleased with everyone, because she's not taking lives. things aren't extreme enough for lives to be taken. So that is all well and good. Now what I'm going to do, oh yeah, we should look at the calendar now that everyone's here. Okay, Saturday is when we have Eve's birthday, so we do have a while before we get to that. But I'm thinking we might actually just we might come back in a bit. I do want to call over Catherine and who is it? Elaine's son, because I want to take a look at both of them, and then I'm thinking that we'll try and fulfill some of the whims that our Sims have, because we have a few of those over here. So I'll try and do that in a second. Okay, we're diving back in with our Dragon Line males. So on the left we have Leon, Lord Leon Dragonzaw, the son of Catherine. So he has obviously the golden yellow hair that all the boys have. He's got the dusky skin, and I think he's the only one to have purple eyes in his generation. So he's special. He's very special. I think we might have taken a look at him before, but I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I recorded the previous episode, so I apologize. But hey, we get to look at them again. And then on the right, we have his cousin, obviously through his mother's side, Elaine's son, Lord Jacob Dragon, who has aged up into a child. So he has blue eyes. Both his parents had blue eyes. He's got the golden yellow hair and dusky skin. Now his skin tone is actually a little bit darker than Leon's. You can't tell in this brilliant light, but it is. And he's also the one and only chubby kid that we have in his entire generation. He's the only one that became a chubby toddler and then is a chubby child now, but I think he looks so cute. Just look at him. Just look at him. You might not be able to tell that much, but he is actually the chubby one. And then Leon, of course. I feel like we might have taken a close look at him. But there we go. There's our boy, little boy. And then our teen, of course. And oh, they look a little bit sad. But hey, you guys go around, you make some friends. I'll be very happy if you go ahead and do that. And in the Eve's companion group, she's got one more slot here, and I think I might be mistaken. Who is it Diana? Diana might be lined up for that last slot, I think. That means the next vampiric girl to be born is going to have her own companion group as well. Nice! That's pretty good. Pretty good, I think. So they have essentially among the kids 3 age ranges. And 3 age ranges they have and people they're going to be close to, depending on, when they were born. So, okay, that aside, we had just a few whims. Now, Azora over here, Azora, she wants to be friendly with Lady Lagatha. I'm wondering if, she wouldn't know that Guinevere knows about her helping Catalea with the potion, but she doesn't have anything bad against Lagatha, I think. She thought she was helping both Lagatha and Catalea by giving that potion, but I feel like maybe she's starting to feel a little bit guilty, so she wants to be, extra nice to Lagatha. And oh my goodness, why are the walls up? So let's go ahead and be friendly with her. Let's go sing about the mentorship. Why not? Let's go sing about the mentorship and see how Guinevere's doing. But I feel like this is guilty Azora trying to check in on Lagatha and see if she's okay, she's fine. She's not gonna apologize to her because that would be admitting that she did something that maybe she wasn't supposed to do. Because, it wasn't harmful, but it was magically induced, so that's not fair to Lagatha. She didn't sign up for that. But she's just gonna check up on Lagatha. She's trying to excuse herself for her decisions. So okay, let's chat with her. Nope. Come on. Brighten her day, maybe. Brighten her day just a little. Look at how lovely Litha looks. She looks so nice. Still so nice. Especially with all the greenery in the background. Ugh, just gorgeous. Okay, there we go. That might have helped out Azora's conscience a little bit. And did anyone else have anything they wanted to potentially work on? I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, there were a few things that actually happened between the Night of the Goddess and now. Unfortunately, the segment that got recorded was corrupted, so I couldn't use it, which is why we kind of resumed from here. But there were a few interesting things that happened. Firstly, Juno was kind of feeling guilty that she might have turned Azura off by rejecting her confession, and she was starting to worry a little bit because, you know, she's trying to use this to make Sage jealous, and if the act gets ruined, then what's the point? So she went to check in on Azura to see if she was okay, and then Azura decided that, because she was thinking the exact same thing that Juno was, she was thinking that maybe she turned Juno off and, you know, the act is going to fall apart, this fake relationship is going to fall apart, and that's not going to be helpful to make Catherine jealous. So she decided to escalate things by woohooing with Juno, and Juno actually accepted, and they both went ahead and did that. So yeah, some pretty big things that happened between the two of them. So we'll have to keep an eye on these two in the future. But Juno, I was saying after that whole incident, I think Juno is okay to mess around with Azura because she doesn't see a happy ending for them. She doesn't see anything permanent happening. But if things started to seem as though it would be, you know, genuine love and happy ending, she would start to get cold feet because she's not about any of that. She's intolerant of those kind of things. She doesn't believe in happy endings, and she doesn't like happy endings, right? At least not for everyone else. And she doesn't believe in happy endings for herself because she's never gotten what she's wanted in all the years that she's existed, according to her. So that's kind of her feelings on the matter. How this is going to turn out, though, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to lie. She's doing a bunch of stuff. I feel kind of sad for Juno. I feel like when she was a teen, I was really cheering for her in terms of a lot of things, but I feel like this whole this thing with Sage and then where she's at now, she's kind of hurting herself. And I feel like in the process of transforming into the person she is now, she's kind of lost what made her, you know, special when she was younger. I feel like she was very determined, and I mean, she's never lagged behind in terms of accomplishments, but I definitely feel like her mind, her mindset, the peace she feels, I don't feel like it's where it could have been. And right now, she's just, you know, messing around with people. That's what she's doing. She's just messing around with people, both with Sage, with Azora, with herself. And I'm seriously wondering if a person like that is suitable for the throne. I feel like now that they're becoming older, like there was a point where I was feeling that maybe Juno would be the more interesting princess to take on the mantle of queen. But now, as immortals and young adults, I'm kind of feeling that Kyra is the more grounded one, and maybe Kyra is the one that, you know, I mean, she is the heiress right now, she's the oldest, she's the rightful heir, but I'm thinking that maybe, yeah, Kyra is the one who might be the best choice for queen currently. But then again, we don't know because we still have Eve. Eve is a child. She has not aged up yet. We have her younger sister Diana. I obviously don't know Diana's personality and what she's going to be like, but I know Eve is also very determined. Eve feels very strongly about her background, about her heritage on both sides, particularly her Visitant side. She's proud of it. She's not ashamed. And I feel like even as a child, she's started consolidating her power by saying that the Visitants should stick with her. You know, the half-breeds, they should stick to her as their leader. So it makes me feel that Eve also has her eye on the throne. She wants to compete for the chance to rule as well. I think she feels as though, as the daughter of 2 royal members, it is kind of, you know, her birthright to be able to fight for that. So it's interesting that we have a generation where, currently it seems, all the princesses have their eye on the throne. Nobody's been vicious, and I hope that stays that way. I don't want any of the princesses to become vicious, but I do kind of like the all competitive. I don't know how openly Eve can be competitive, because if she was openly competitive, the others might see it as a bit of a threat and not like it. Whereas, you know, Juno and Kyra, they openly competed, but it was like in good spirits. I feel like they might be a bit more open to Diana competing with them. Whereas with Eve, because they've kind of outcasted her a little bit, they're going to see it as invader behavior, I feel like. And I don't know if they're going to be wanting to indulge that. So even though Eve wants to compete, and, you know, she's proud of her heritage, I feel like she has to be... She's kind of wary in how she does it, so she kind of does it more behind the scenes to make sure she builds connections and she's got a fair chance as well. So that's kind of interesting. I'm curious to see more of Eve as she kind of gets older and as she figures out this political climate that she's in. And I actually really like, you know, one thing about how far apart our girls have been born, the vampiric ones, I'd like that we get to see more and more of their personality develop, and, you know, there's more things that they're going through, more incidents that they're having to overcome, more stories, really, that we are getting to tell before they become old enough to even reach the challenge, you know, challenging their mother for the throne. By that point, I think we'll have probably quite strong feelings about each of the candidates and each of the characters, and it's nice. Even like how things were with Juno and Kyra. We felt one way about them in the beginning, and then it changed, and then it changed again, so obviously opinions don't always stay the same, and that might be the case in Eve, but right now I think, even though I feel like among the immortals, Kyra is the more appropriate queen. And actually, I feel like, yeah, Kyra probably would be the more appropriate queen. But I think right now, my favorite princess is Eve. But then also I can see myself liking Diana a lot. Like, I'm already falling for her, so I don't know. We'll have to see, guys. But okay, I'm going to leave off here. When we come back in the next episode, we'll actually have the wedding between Eden and Catalea. I think the queen can't hold on anymore. She's going to give in to Catalea, and I think she's going to feel as though, yeah, okay, Catalea is pushing her, it's time to get married. It is time to have, and she's convinced herself, she's thought it over, she's talked with everyone she's needed to talk to, she's kind of made peace with everyone, and I think the queen is, she's just determined to see this through. It's not nearly as terrifying a thought as it was in the very beginning, or it's not as outrageous as she thought it was in the beginning. So we'll go ahead and do all of that. I'm quite excited to see what sort of drama is going to happen next. But okay, guys, I'm going to leave off. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.